Hi there, my name's Matthew, and this is the final video of the Fluency Development series, which is part of a a short video course introducing the four strands and activities in the four strands. So, fluency development with writing, we're going to look at what it is and how to practice it and why it might be good. So here is our big overview of the four strands, and you can see we've got writing down here, and we have two activities actually. We have 10-minute writing and repeated writing. So what is fluency with writing? So fluency with writing is similar to fluency with speaking. So for example, with speaking, we are able to, on the spot, without much effort, we're able to summon uh, stretches of discourse, as in we're able to automatically call out phrases, and we're able to create language on the spot. So with fluency for speaking, I said that when you're speaking, it needs to be easy and it needs to have a push for going faster and it needs to have repetition. So fluency with writing it's much the same as fluency with speaking. So compare writing for the meaning-focused output strand with writing for fluency development. If we are writing for meaning-focused output, like the general writing activity or the read and write activity, we are creating new ideas in writing. We are using our ability with vocabulary and phrases and grammar, and we're stretching ourselves to communicate in ways we haven't done before. Fluency development is not about the experimenting part. So fluency development is about using what we know. So that means it needs to be easy what we're doing, and we are using and repeating patterns and phrases that we're familiar with. So with the writing for fluency, we're becoming routine with writing, which means writing often, and we're also pushing ourselves to go faster. So initially, we're not worried too much about spelling or grammatical accuracy. We are simply pushing for speed. The more routine we become with this, the more accurate, in fact, our writing will become. Now, to clarify, some teacher trainer courses use the word fluency with, especially with speaking and writing, in a different way from what fluency means here. So, on a lot of teacher training courses, including CELTA courses that I'm familiar with, um, meaning focused output, as in communicating spoken messages to somebody, that would be considered a fluency activity because the student is focused on meaning and the student's not focused necessarily on being grammatically accurate. So accuracy, so speaking for accuracy is often in contrast with speaking for fluency in that sense. But speaking for fluency with the four strands is not the same as meaning focused output where you're simply communicating. So, for example, if you start working with a partner and you are describing what you did yesterday, that would belong with meaning focused output with the four strands. On many teacher training courses, that would be considered a fluency activity. If you just learned about past simple, for example, that could be considered like a freer activity for using the past simple, using past tense, using past forms in a spoken way. But for the four strands with fluency, we're talking about something different. It's about using what you know becoming very fluent or routine or automatic with what you know, and pushing a conscious effort for pushing for speed. So, okay, so the 10-minute writing activity, it's very simple actually. You simply uh, choose a writing topic that you're going to write about, and you write like crazy for 10 minutes. And then you keep track of, you add up how many words you wrote, and you keep track of it on a graph. And over time, you should see that you're able to write more and more words within 10 minutes. If you are a teacher and you are using this activity with students, of course, the students will need to be familiar with the instructions. The first time you do an activity with students often has many problems, but the more routine this activity becomes, the better. So you could have number one, step one, you could have the topics up on the wall in a list. Students choose a topic, and then you start the timer and you say, okay, go. And then everyone starts writing. They have 10 minutes. At 10 minutes, you stop the timer and you say, time's up. And students stop what they're writing and they count up how many words and they mark it on a graph, on a chart. So you can have students change their swap their papers and they can read it. That makes it more motivating because with speaking, uh, people often complain that they can't practice speaking because they don't have a partner. So if you think it's strange to talk to yourself or talk to the wall or talk to a video and make a presentation like that, then you should also feel that it's really weird to write something that no one will ever read, unless, of course, it's a diary entry. So you might feel strange about talking to the wall, so don't make your students write to the wall, as in write with no audience, no one will read it. So a follow-up activity for this would be to have students reading each other's 10-minute writing. Now, there shouldn't be any error correction because this activity wasn't about accuracy, as in um, getting things right. The whole point of the activity is fluency writing, so going as fast as they can about an easy topic within 10 minutes. So students can swap papers and they can read each other's papers and they can write a response, or the teacher could write a response like, wow, that's really interesting, you're a good writer. So some response about the content really. And if students do this activity, then read each other's writings, then that means that everyone will practice meaning-focused input. So you're getting more benefit from this activity actually. And simply having the students read each other's writing, you're uh, balancing this with another kind of activity on the course. Okay, so if you want to do a 10-minute activity on your own, you follow the same steps as you would with the classroom. I recommend you go someplace and you have your writing published in some way. So published in the sense of it's online and people can go there and read it and they can respond to that. So that can be very motivating. And it's just practicing fluency and it makes you better at communicating. So the more fluency practice you have with writing, the better you are at with potentially with text messaging and communicating with others via WeChat or Messenger or Viber or WhatsApp. So this activity can be done with typing as well. Okay, briefly, let's look at repeated writing. So basically, this is using a writing that you've done from another part of the course. So you want to use a writing activity from another part of the course, and you want to get fluent with creating that kind of writing. This is very similar to the 4-3-2 activity. So the 4-3-2 activity with speaking is about repeating the same message and you have less and less time to do it. So that's with speaking. So repeated writing is similar. So let's say you write a text in one part of the course, as in for general writing or for read and write activity, and you get some feedback on that, say feedback from italki. And then you look at that feedback, and then you put the feedback in the text away, and you write that text from memory. So as best you can, you write that text from memory as fast as you can. And then you compare your writing with the original, and then you try that again and write it from memory. And you try to do that 2 or 3 times so that you become fluent at writing that particular piece of writing. And this is an activity that can be really good for preparing for exams that have predictable question types.